Howdy. So yeah, nylon, people, nylon. This is 618 machinable nylon. Pain in my ass to print. I mean, literally a pain in my ass to print. It took me about 2 years to learn how to print this material, but once you learn how to do it, my goodness gracious, this is one of the greatest and funniest materials to make actual good parts. If you're making parts for a printer, for the hot end, this would be the greatest material to use. Oh, for those people that like the white, the whole white printing on white, I guess if you learn to print in nylon, you always get white. Plus, you can stain it with dye. You can dye it, which is fun. So yeah, I'm gonna be making some videos of how to make that, which that's just a clone of an i3. It's not an Annette. No, I make my own machines. I always have. That's my third machine I ever made. But onto this bad boy right here. The plate is because my spool holder won't hold that little bitty nylon roll. That's the same nylon roll, if anybody got the question, that you use when you're making sweaters. Yes, it's the same nylon that you make clothes out of, and the same nylon that you use to make self-lubricated parts. Again, please don't go out running buying nylon. This took me years to learn how to print this, and again, I have a $24 sheet of PEI, and I'm still using good old Elmo's glue on it. So it is worth using, Daniel. As a matter of fact, it depends where you get it. You always want to get Taulman 618. Nylon has chlorine gas and cyanide. I'm not saying, you know, always gonna bleach the walls or it's gonna kill you, but there's enough cyanide that it will actually start concentrating in your brain and eventually drive you nuts. And I mean, like, literally crazy. But nylon is actually a self-lubricating material, so if you make anything that has a hinge or anything that is touching each other, or if you want to machine your parts, nylon 618 Taulman, it's hard enough to actually like drill through it, and if you want to shave it off. So this is one of the best materials. Again, it just takes years to actually learn how to dial your machine down. Again, the same advice to everyone. Please, guys, learn your Marlin. Push your own firmware. Push your own code to your machine. It'll work. Nylon, fantastic to print with, but it takes years to master it, unless you have the right settings. And I mean, if you're lucky, you might get a couple of good prints. But please, guys, like, if you have an Annette, again, go invite your buddies and go invite anybody in the net group that you know, and I will be more than delighted to tell you where I got all these upgrade parts for this printer. And if you put this in your Annette, you don't have to make it a 3030 aluminum rigid material. You will literally get better prints just by pushing your own firmware. So I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, shameless plug, I know. And I have a website if you want to learn about, forward3dprinting.com. If you want to learn how to lower your speeds and lower your speeds and your jerk, so you don't have ringing, for example, or again, little things like how to push your own Marlin so you can define how fast your machine can go. The Chinese are really good at making cheap parts. They're not really good at making Python. No offense if anybody is a Chinese citizen and knows Python. Anyways, yep. So yeah, it is definitely worth learning how to use nylon. It is definitely worth trying all the materials. I have printed all the materials by now. Carbon, wood. Again, nylon is one of the hardest ones. But if you are making parts for a machine or parts for, I don't know, your car or whatever, nylon is going to be the easiest thing to literally mill. This nylon is machinable nylon. You can literally use a CNC machine, print a block and cut something out of it, you know. Again, so I'm not saying go out and buy nylon right now. It takes a while to learn, but I will tell you, go over and look over firmware, teach how to put your own firmware to your own machine, and you'll see difference in your prints just from that. And again, I will make more videos on how to do all this crazy crap and update firmware. But again, if a upgrade that you want to look at, I'm serious, an upgrade for your net or any clone, this extruder is a must on any i3, unless you are running like a volcano or you're running like an actual aluminum extruder. Other than that, I will recommend you to print this. This is the best extruder. It's made by the guy that makes the machine, Prusa designed that extruder. So, you know, just saying, if you want good prints come with good Marlin, good extruder. Again, I know this dragon is not as impressive as you would think, but the materials that it's made with, nearly impossible to print with. And at these speeds, again, these are regular speeds, it will change, you know. So, there's nobody here. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. Oh, there's somebody. Anyways, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. If you guys have any questions, post them out. Again, I'm gonna be posting videos on how to make this machine out of that machine with those sticks. So we're gonna use these sticks to make that out of that. So as soon as I put those videos up, promised a couple of friends I was going to put them in the net group anyway, so you guys can go over. But again, I can't stress this enough. If you don't have this extruder in your net, you must. This is the greatest extruder. It was made by Joseph Prusa. If you wonder why the Annette and the word Prusa are similar, is because they're synonymous. Your Annette is a clone of the Prusa i3 Mark I, which is that machine right there. That's a Prusa i3 Mark I. This is a custom extruder I make, pay no attention, but that is the Prusa i3 Mark I. And so anything like that you can make onto that, just with the parts that you have. Again, but if I cannot get you to change parts on your machine, I'm sorry about that. If I cannot get you to change to make your machine harder, you know, to make extrusion machine, let me at least convince you. If you have an Annette, put the extruder. So put this extruder on it. This is the Prusa i3 Mark II extruder with an 8mm sensor. I upgraded that to Thingiverse. If you go to look on Thingiverse 3030 amalgamation of Ruvelix, you will find that particular extruder. Do sand it before you put the actual sensor in, because I made it just like size. So you should follow it. But again, if you don't have that extruder, this is the extruder you should have on your Annette, unless you have a custom aluminum extruder. Again, this was made by the guy that invented these machines. If anybody wants to know about the nylon or how to print the nylon, I'll be more than delighted to give you a couple of settings. No, this is not an Annette. I make my own machines. I always have. I'm a rep rapper. However, I'm going to be making a video on how to make that machine or an Annette into this machine. So shameless plug, forward3dprinting.com, and you can follow us right here in the group. I have a group called Forward 3D Printing here on Facebook. I don't do anything other than build up. So again, if you have questions about how to build a machine, any machine, doesn't matter. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'd be more than delighted to push any knowledge that I have on my way. About prints, so on and so forth. I try to jump into your groups to let you know, any advice that I have for your prints. Thanks Alexis. And good luck on the nylon. No, actually unrequired, but very welcome the wish. Thank you. So if you guys are interested, again, the group that I have is just about building machines. No matter which machine you're building, I'll be more than delighted to help. It's always, again, if I can convince you to do this to your net, which you should think about it, because the more rigid the machine is, the better your prints. Let me at least try to convince you to put that extruder on it. That is the original Mark II extruder made by Prusa. So that extruder equals the guy that made your net, like the guy that actually designed the net, like if you wish. No, I'm pretty sure Prusa would not design a net. But anyways, Prusa made that extruder, and I made the changes so you can put a bigger sensor on it. So again, if you want to try that extruder with your net, I would highly recommend it. Again, made by Joseph Prusa himself. So, you know, again, any questions about printing material or about how to make the machine, just go to the Forward 3D Printing group. I'm going to be posting videos on how to assemble the extruder, how to assemble the machine, how to assemble your Y, and you guys can either follow along, you know, or your convenience. But I would recommend you, again, if you do not want to put extrusion on your machine, at least put that extruder and change your firmware. The firmware that directly comes from the net, it's garbage. I don't want a bad mouth. No bad mouth in the machine and bad mouth in the firmware. If you go to specifically, if you go to github.com/Marlin firmware /Marlin, you can download the firmware, and you can make your own firmware. You can define how fast the machine can move. If you have a sensor, you can define that. If you guys get to upgrade for out-of-bed leveling or out-of-bed meshing in your machines, you're going to notice that there is no really code out there for the Anet. And Anet is a Mega 2560 from Arduino combined with a ramps, that's all. So if you grab a MakerBase or MKS board 1.4, and if you look like an Anet, they're the exact same thing, just one of them has more plugs. Again, all these boards are based out of the ramps 1.4 amalgamation with an actual 2560 from Arduino. So recommendation for all of you guys with an Anet out there, go ahead and download the Eno from arduino.cc. Download the Eno. The drivers for your Anet will be there. It will be the Mega 2560. And if you decide that your machine is either doing C wobbling or C banding, or you want to reduce your speeds, or you want to increase your speeds, or you want to change your jerk, all that is done by you making your own firmware. It's very simple. Marlin is very simple to run. If you download slicers, everybody is using Cura. Guys, you have a Prusa. So go out to Prusa 3D and download their slicer, which is designed for Prusas. You will see that actually has the settings if you want to have it. Like if you have 5mm rods, like the all Anets and the all Prusas, you can still use that on your slicer. So again, try to upgrade to that extruder, because that extruder is made for your machine. Try to upgrade for your firmware to the firmware that was made for your machine. Little things, again, if you got the money and you can invest it, invest in 3030. And again, I'm going to be making that machine, which is a i3 clone. Actually, it's the Mark I clone, onto 3030, and it's going to end up looking like that, not with such big plate. Again, all these machines I have made myself. I have never purchased a machine. The reason I don't buy machines is because I didn't find the challenge on it. Now, a lot of you, I'm trying to offend anybody, a lot of you, again, jumped in these and are realizing that it's not all fun and games. Like, literally, you guys jumped into robotics. It takes a while to learn these. But if I can help you navigate, if I can help you not have the screw-ups that everybody else has, man, by all means, please contact me. If you're having addition bed problems, people, consider PEI. I know it's expensive, I know it's hard to find. If you have an aluminum bed and PEI, then you can put that sensor and your prints will always turn the same. Every time you will turn the exact same. Again, I'm printing a Nylon 618 Taulman. That print should not be on bed. If anybody here knows what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up. Nylon is one of the hardest materials to print on. Simple. However, If again, PEI, polythermide, and a little PBA glue, Elmer's glue for school, you literally get perfect addition. Now, if for you guys that are wondering my temperatures, I'm pushing this nylon super cold. I'm pushing it to temperatures that is very seldom people print to those temperatures. I don't like printing hot. My bed is 0. I actually unplugged the bed so it wouldn't register temperature at all. That's how much my nylon means to me. But again, like the printing temperatures that you get on reprap.org, they tell you, oh, you know, you got to print about 250 degrees. And at 250 degrees, it's more steam than nylon. So again, learning your temperatures, learning your material science, pushing your own code. I'm going to stress that. Having a good extruder. This extruder was designed for your machine. I'm going to repeat these same things over and over and over. It's really important for me that you guys get this concept. Your machine is one of the greatest machines made. That's why I come to Annette. Again, you guys have a clone of one of the greatest machines in the market, Prusa. Joseph Prusa, fantastic guy. Got pleasure to know him. He's an amazing guy. And again, he come up with all these machines. So yeah, and Annette is awesome. You pay $187 for it. Now get to upgrading, get a machine how you wanted it for reals. $187 machine is not a good machine. That's period. My motors here with the lead rods already involved in it, that was just $60 worth of motors. I mean, that's half of the printer right there. So again, I'm not saying the Annette is bad. What I'm saying is your machine is one of the most upgradable machines in the market. The Prusa i3. It has been in the market for nearly 5 years. Again, so everybody understand what I'm saying. I'm not just bullshitting here. I made that when Prusa was making his machine at the same time on RepRap. So this machine I made at the same time that they were putting out their Prusa. Now, why did I went to these? Because I understand physics and I understand that the more rigid the machine is, better my prints, right? So it's also yours. So again, if I cannot convince you to make all these upgrades, upgrade it slowly. You know what I mean? Start with, okay, let's start with extruder. Let's start with the heart. One of the concepts that I learned when I started these, okay, in the beginning, and it's still around. The heart of the machine, it's right there. That's the heart of the machine. Where is the brain of the machine? Right there. That's the brain of the machine. Where is the blood? It's right there on the wall. That's the blood of the machine. If you keep these 3 things involved, then you start perfecting. As long as your heart is running good and your brain is running good, then you have to make sure that the body is good. Your Annette tends to bend and Z-band because it's made out of I think it's acrylic. I don't know, I'm sure it's plastic, but those braces in the front, it's just not good. The machine is designed to be rigid. However, again, if you cannot upgrade all of it at once, upgrade to this extruder. That extruder is made for your machine, and is made by the guy that created the machines, Joseph Prusa. Joseph Prusa was the one that created this extruder. Again, the only thing that I made to this extruder is I made it custom so I can put these. If you want to download this extruder, this in Thingiverse, look for 3030 Revelix amalgamation machine. You can download just the extruder. Again, if the guy that made the machine puts an extruder out there, try it. Just saying. I know you guys, a lot of you have trouble in your nets with layering and sticking to the bed. Guys, tape, we've been using tape. I was using bent glue tape about 5 years ago. All right, and then I went into glass and started using glue, and then again, so I understand that most of you have to go through the progression. Some of you, please don't. If you are good enough to print and your prints are coming nice, and the only problem that you have is addition, PEI people. This is an aluminum bed directly with the PEI. There is no glass. And again, because I'm printing nylon, you can see the glue. I'm not gonna blow a smoke on my own butt. Nobody prints nylon without brims and glue. Very few people we like with enclosed. However, for example, this is not enclosed. Nylon, usually you want to do it enclosed so it stays without delayering. But when you're running the right temperatures, the right extruder, you will get the print. Again, you guys can go around and ask anybody, any group, You can go to Folger Tech, you can go to just 3D Printing Group and ask them how hard it is to print a nylon. Nylon is going to be one of the hardest materials because it tries to laminize against itself. So basically, if I cut the foot, you can see layers, but if I cut it, there is no layers. It's because all the layers are glued together. That's why it delaminizes and comes off the bed so fast. So again, if you're having problems, these solutions have been around, like PEI. I was printing in polycarbonate 5 years ago. So we were trying these science materials for a very long time. Builtac, fantastic material for 4 years ago, 3 years ago when it came out. The moment that PEI hit the market, you should be having polytheramide on your machine, either on your glass or on your bed. If you have problems with adhesion, this is how you fix it. If your problems with extrusion, this extruder, that's how you fix it. If your problems with the rigid, this is how you fix it. If your problems, your print is too small, that's how you fix it. Everything has effects. Some of them cost money. Most of them in 3D printing actually don't. You know, you can print your own parts, and if you already have the parts, again, if you guys are interested in how to make a machine like this out of your Annette, I will show you how. No problem. I want you guys to succeed. You know why it's important for everybody, for me guys to succeed, for you guys to succeed, and for everybody else actually to learn this? Because if we get to everybody to start getting involved to 3D printing, this actually might change how we look at society and how people make their stuff. How Adrian Boyer intended it. Adrian Boyer intended these for people that had no access to tools. Imagine printing something like that on nylon Taulman 618, nylon that you can machine. You're printing your tools out of that. I guarantee you they'll last you the same amount that if you buy it in a market and you go to a hardware store and buy something out of metal. Again, this is nylon that you can machine. So again, if I cannot get you, I'm going to repeat this thing over and over and over. So I am absolutely and completely sorry. You guys are tired of hearing. If I cannot get you to do this to your machine, if I cannot get you to put it in aluminum, at least look at that extruder. That extruder was made for your machine. The people that watch this video tomorrow, my goodness, I'm sorry. I might not even post it because I'm repeating myself so much. If you're having ringing problems, jerk, acceleration, learn these terms. They're not the physics actually terms. They're gonna be more like actual computer terms for these. I mean, jerk does not describe jerk on actual 3D printing. It just describes terms. But anyways, again, I'm just carrying on like a crazy person. So check those layers out. Again, nylon Taulman 618. You can change these materials, you can machine it, you can do a bunch of crazy crap to it. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette to everybody that is here. If you have any questions, just post them. I will come read them. Stick around if you're gonna post a question. Stick around so I can answer it. And I'm gonna go take a drag. And again, if you have an Annette, if I cannot convince you to go to aluminum extrusion, let me convince you to go to that extruder. I'm going to keep on repeating that. If you have an Annette, get this extruder. You can print it directly from Prusa's 3D website. If you want it with a bigger sensor, you can print it from Thingiverse. You can go to look in Thingiverse, look at 3030 extrusion, Revelix, and you can print that extruder. That extruder was designed for your printer by the guy that designed the actual printer, Joseph Prusa. So again, if I can't convince you to do anything else, put that extruder in your machine. I guarantee you. Also, if I can, little changes, you want to make your prints better, push your own code, put your own firmware into your machine. Most of you guys don't even have the drivers for your board. Your board, the Annette, is a RAMPS 2560 mega. It's a RAMPS 1.4 and a 2560 mega combined, just like an MKS and a bunch of all those boards that are brand new on the market. Those boards are just a mega 2560. We've been running virtually the same boards now for a very long time, thanks to ramps. When the ramps and the Rambo came out, those boards are cheap. They run an Arduino Mega processor. So again, other things that I'm preaching here, MOSFET. Now right now I'm printing, this is cold, I'm not printing any temperature there because I'm printing nylon from Taulman. But MOSFET people, if you don't want to catch your net on fire, if you don't have, if your power supply is 30 amps, your net is not going to take it. When you start heating that bed, you guys catch your boards on fire. Again, if I cannot make you change your machine into rigid extrusion, at least put a MOSFET. You don't want your machine to catch on fire, put a MOSFET. You want to print in nylon or TPU or ABS, put PEI. Polythermide is fantastic. Again, if you're going to be printing with a crazy material like nylon, in your PEI, I'm still pulling Elmer glue. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And again, you can go to any of the websites, any of the groups, and ask them how hard it is to print in these. It's impossible. But it sticks to the bed because, again, there's a $24 PEI sheet. And then I have Elmer's glue. I have a brim. The guy that taught me how to 3D print, the guy that taught me how to do this is the guy that invented the brim, Adam Herring. I'm rubbing the phone. Anyways, so yeah, if I can convince you anything else, let me convince you to put that extruder in your machine. That extruder was designed for your machine. That's all. Again, if I can put a MOSFET on your machine, you need one. You guys keep on posting things that your board catched on fire. Again, a $10 upgrade to your machine that will save your house from catching on fire. You want better prints, your nets, the extruders that they have is the same concept that if you buy that aluminum extruder from eBay or Amazon. If you want to print extruder, this, remember, making your own parts is how you get really good at these. If you want to print this one, you can print that from Thingiverse. I have it on the 3030 amalgamation for that sensor size. If you want the original, if you happen to find a Pinda, it's a $50 sensor, but if you happen to find the actual sensor that Prusa uses, go to Prusa 3D and print that extruder. That is designed by Joseph Prusa for your machine. That's why it's all open source, so you guys can still go and make your i3 clones like the Annette into these, a Mark II. Again, you guys like still, again, this bad boy, a sensor, an aluminum bed, most. Or if you don't want to pay the money for the aluminum bed, and you still want to be auto leveling, just grab a you have a glass bed. You take your glass, just your piece of glass, you put aluminum foil tape to the bottom of it. I know Tom says Tom is wrong from Tom Guide. I love him to death, amazing guy, but he was wrong. You can put aluminum tape on the bottom of the glass, and you can put a sensor like this, and every time, I promise you, your prints are gonna turn out the same. So again, I'm gonna be preaching the same things. As long as this print is going, I'm gonna be preaching the same things. If I cannot convince you of otherwise, change your extruder. It was designed for your machine. If I can convince you of something else, let me convince you putting a sensor. Let me convince you auto leveling your bed. Piece of glass, aluminum tape on the bottom, and sensor like these, you're set. Again, and this is just for funsies. I haven't tried this particular film, which apparently won't. I'm going to show you something because Tom from Tom Guide said that you cannot trigger these sensors with aluminum foil just from your household. Here, I have a little piece of aluminum tape, and you can see my sensor. The sensor will trigger every time it passes by it. And the reason it triggers is because it does senses it. You see? and it's just a piece of aluminum foil. You put these on the bottom of your glass bed, you put your glass on the top of your PCB board, and all of a sudden, with this on the bottom of the glass, you can put that sensor and auto level your bed. And your prints, you don't have to worry, your prints will turn out the same every time. It's easy. It truly is. Most of us have done the science for 15, 10, in my case, for example, 6 years. The guy that taught me 10 years. The guy that taught him was Adrian Boyer, so I guess 15 years. So most of us have done all these. So again, you guys don't be shy. Ask away. Again, you can ask if you one's gonna add me up to any questions. Please add me up in the friends list. If you guys wanna join the group, again, I have a group just about building machines, nothing else. If you have any questions, that's why I jumped on your groups like the Annette group and the 3D printing and the Folger Tech. And the reason I jumped to those groups is because I want to help people figure out what it took me years to do. But again, if I cannot convince you to do anything else, please let me convince you to put that extruder on your machine. That extruder was made by Joseph Prusa, specifically for machines like yours. You will notice the difference right away. PEI, you want your prints to stay. Again, this is Taulman Nylon. Go and ask on any website how hard it is to print with that. If you have PEI and a little PVA glue, Elmer's glue, you can print a dragon with it. This is machinable. You can make parts out of this nylon. Again, all these things, the sensor right there, if you get a chance, buy one from AliExpress. That particular one runs from 5 volts to 36 volts, so that means that you can just plug it to the net. You don't have to plug it to your power supply, you can just plug it to the net. Runs from 5 volts to 36. Those sensors cost me $3 per sensor. I have a bunch of them laying around the house just because they were so cheap. Every time I make a bed, again, that other Prusa that I was showing you, which is the old Mark I, which again, if I show it to you, you might recognize it. It looks more like a net. That machine, again, I built that machine from scratch when the Mark I was on the market, when Prusa was starting to sell the Mark I. Again, and so if you, again, that plus a little aluminum extrusion equals that. And that makes the difference in your prints. If your machine is rigid, your prints are going to be the same every time. Your jerk is going to be more because your machine is rigid, but then you have to change the modeling. So again, guys with the nets, this is for you. Specifically, I jumped in the website and jumped in the group to tell you this. If I cannot convince you of anything else, allow me to convince you. Install this extruder. Install that sensor. They're the original things. A Prusa. This extruder is the original Prusa Mark II. You can print it directly if you can find that sensor for the ones that Prusa has. It's a 3mm sensor. It's about the size of my pinky. If you want to put a bigger one, you can go to Thingiverse. I have the file for this particular model with an 8mm sensor. Your prints will stick on the bed if you put PEI. Again, I love preaching this one. Put a MOSFET on your boards. The Annette boards tend to catch on fire. Don't know why. Don't know what's up with the Chinese power supplies. I don't. But again, all these things will make your prints better. All these things, little things like your extruder, little things like, again, tighten your belts. Your belts should sound, I'm not telling like you're like a guitar string, but it should strum when you click them. When you blink them with your finger, they should strum like an instrument. No, again, they're not supposed to be tuned up. They're just supposed to be tight. Remember, they're moving like if they were a rod. The same thing with these. Look, I'm running an aluminum bed on top of an aluminum plate on 12mm rods, but it doesn't jerk or doesn't jump because I have all the machine program how I want it. Learn your Marlin. Go to github.com, download your Marlin firmware. Most of you don't even have the correct drivers for your machine. Your machine is a Mega 2560. You should be running that on Arduino based programs. I know that they give you a bunch of drivers with your net, Everybody's like, well, how do you get these layers? How do you get your materials, your prints to look shiny? Because there is a specific slicer made for the Prusa, and Prusa released it for free. This extruder is made directly from just Prusa for your machine. Install it. You can print the parts. Most of the stuff that you already have at your house, that's all you're gonna need to build that thing. Again, little changes. If anybody interested, this is Nylon 618. Don't go buy it really quick and thinking that you're gonna print on it. Really hard to learn how to print on nylon. Your bed has to be cold. It has to be to a certain temperature. Yeah. Again, I have polyethylamide. I have PAI, but I still have glue around it so my thing sticks. This again, learn the tricks. Ask around. If you find one of them pricks that they're like, I'm tired of telling you the same thing over and over, they're really not rep rappers. The makers, we would love to repeat ourselves over and over and over about these things so you guys don't have to make the mistakes that made me blue on the face for 5 years. Again, but recommendation, if you need a good extruder in your machine, if your extruder is working so and you like it to be tighter, your nozzle, I noticed that the nozzle is directly onto that aluminum. Make sure that you tight up your nozzle very tight, not too tight where you cannot remove the nozzle by itself. Again, this right here, you can buy the hot end that is required for about $5 from AliExpress, about $14 from Amazon if you want it fast. The sensor is just a 5x36 bolts. I know it sounds weird to the guys that know the sensors, but this sensor is from AliExpress, starts at 5 volts, which means that you can just plug it to any machine. You don't have to plug and run all this weird wiring. Aluminum extrusion makes your machine stronger, makes it rigid, and makes your prints better. But again, if I cannot convince you anything, let me convince you at least to put the extruder that the guy that invented the machine made for your machine. Joseph Prusa invented that extruder specifically for Prusas. And yes, I know it's a lot of people like, well, how much is that going to cost? Nothing. You just print the parts. The sensor costs $3 from AliExpress. The fans, you already have them in your nets. Just print the parts. Use your own parts that you already have. I'm going to be making videos. Whoever's interested also. I'm going to be making videos. You can go to my group, forward3dprinting.com or forward3dprinting here on Facebook. I have a group of experts and we just specialize in build-ups. That's it. That's why I jump into these groups to give advice about printing. But if you want to advise on building a machine, I'll give you advice on our group. Again, I'm going to be making a video of how to make these onto that. The reason I have a plate here and my ghetto setup is because the nylon roll is too little. Anyways, for those that have been staying around for a little while, I'm going to show you a little close-up of these layers. Again, that plastic, that nylon is machinable. You can literally CNC this nylon. So again, little things like changing your Marlin, make your own firmware. It's really easy. Just go to github.com, download the Marlin firmware /Marlin, and you push your own code to your machine. You decide how fast your machine does things. I mean, that's awesome. A lot of you guys have problems with jerk. Like you have ringing on your prints and you're like, how do you fix that? Well, you have to install the actual software that runs for that board on your machine. The Chinese gave you a copy of a software that they made. It's not even running on the right actual what do you call it? The right generics for what they're writing to you. Again, Marlin, the board that you're running on a net is a 2560 mega. If anybody's been staying around for this for a long time, you have heard me this a couple of times now. Learn the firmware. Push your own firmware. Change your jerk. Play with it. Don't be afraid to mess with the machine. Remember, it's just a machine. It can be replaced. You can change things. And again, a change that I recommend, the actual extruder that the guy that designed the machine built for you guys. Again, that is the actual extruder for the Mark II. If you want to put a bigger sensor, you can go to Thingiverse. I made a copy of it with a bigger sensor. You can find it on the 3030 Revelix printer, this is what it is. Again, everybody that keeps on saying, like, oh, I have my 8020 or my 42, my 2020 or my 3030 extrusion machine, and it's some type of new upgrade. It's not. This machine was on the pipes when we were doing the reworks, the Prusa i3 rework. Again, that's where the whole aluminum extrusion came. The aluminum extrusion trick, it's as old as the Prusa i3 rework, which is the third iteration of the Prusa Mark I. This is, again, nylon, super important. Just because you see me printing right here on it, don't think, I'm like, oh, that looks cool, I'm gonna try. Again, the bed has to be cold and it has to be to a certain temperature. I think it's like 29 or between 29 and 31 Celsius. PEI, and then I have, again, Elmer's glue on top of the PEI. Using my nylon, I have a huge brim. The guy that taught me how to 3D print is the guy that invented the brim. So again, guys, there's a lot of upgrades out there for your machine that you do not have to buy. You can just print. Again, this bad boy, $3, the best $3. It will save your motors, it will save your beds. You don't run the nozzle onto it. A lot of you guys like, what am I doing wrong? Why won't it stick? It's because you guys still using like tape, like painter's tape. Hell, that was something that I was using when we were doing this 6 years ago, yo. Seriously, 6 years ago, I was using tape. So PEI has been around for like 2 years. Go at it. Build-Tech was great about 4 years ago when PEI and polycarbonate beds came out. No need. A MOSFET. If your board keeps on catching on fire, understand, again, it's a $187 printer. They have to cut corners somehow, and that's the Annette board. The Annette board is just a Mega 2560 with a Ramps 1.4. You can upgrade those anytime. Again, learn how to push your own firmware. You can decide how fast it prints, how slow it prints, how much it jerks. $3 sensor. If I cannot convince you, God, I keep on saying this over and over. If I cannot convince you to do anything else to your machine, let me convince you to do the upgrade to the extruder that the guy that made the machine made. This is for the Prusa i3 Mark II. The only change I think I made for these was the size of that and the size of the vents for the fan on the back. You can get these you can download this from Thingiverse. Just the extruder is under my 3030 Revelix machine. You can just download the extruder, please. That extruder was made for you from Prusa, and then I made this modification so you guys can run cheap sensors. Do not just think because your prints are looking good they cannot look better. I promise you, they can always look better. Again, right now the material that you're watching is 618 nylon from Taulman. Most people will not even be able to layer two layers on without if just coming off the bed. $24 of PEI, Elmer stick. There it is. Do these upgrades, guys. Again, if you want to learn how to build machines, I have my own Facebook group. No shame, shameless plug right here. If you want to learn how to build a machine like these, I'm going to be posting some videos. You can go to Forward 3D Printing Group or Forward 3D Printing YouTube or forward3dprinting.com, and you can download these parts from either one of those places. You can find all these things. I got videos on how to push your own Marlin, your firmware to your machine, so you know what your machine is doing every time you turn it on. I have that extruder on Thingiverse. You don't have to follow me, you don't have to do anything. Just go to Thingiverse and download the extruder and print it. And you will see the difference. I'm not taking ownership of that extruder. That extruder was made by the guy that designed the printer, Joseph Prusa. It's a, what, 60 cents print that will make your prints amazing. Again, just saying, running all the same bullshit. I will beg you people, put that extruder in your machines. The Annette is designed for this extruder. Or this extruder was designed directly for Prusa's machines. Again, we had these machines for 5 years now. The Prusas. All the upgrades are available, are mostly printable, and they're cheap. Super simple to make, super simple to... Again, you're having problems with your print, please download the slicer version from Prusa for free, prusa3d.com. You can download the drivers, just install the drivers, you get the slicer. You'll never have to use their drivers because you don't have a Rambo. If you for some reason feel like operating to a really master awesome board, you operate to a Rambo, which is a $130 board, just the board. Again, but you can run all these settings that Prusa has in his $800 machine. You can run it in your Annette with your own firmware. You can run it with his parts for his machine. If you have Acme roads in your machine, again, download the other ones that Prusa made. I made some changes on 3030 on their Thingiverse. Look, 3030, and I have these ones printed where you can put your end stops away, so you can barely see the end stop in this machine. Again, little things that all of us in the community have done these for so long, just making upgrades. So you guys that are jumping in brand new to these, you guys already have access to all these upgrades. Again, designed by Joseph Prusa himself for your machine. And then I changed these so you guys can put a cheaper sensor on it instead of running a pin at $50. These parts right here, if you want to put a tensioner in your machine, these are made out of carbon fiber. They run the longest time. How long I run this machine that this is already delaminating. I already have print parts ready for carbon. This machine has run carbon, wood, copper, brass. I have run everything in this nozzle. If you're running the right temperatures, you won't have to worry about overpressure. You won't blow up. You won't have a blown nozzle. If you don't want your board on fire, get a MOSFET. It's $10, people. Come on. It's not that hard. Again, like any questions that you guys have, I'm here. I'm glad to answer them. Forward3dprinting.com. There goes my shameless plug. If you want to go to the group, if you're trying to build a machine and learn how to build them, please hit us up. I have experts, like an actual honest to goodness expert. We'll be more than delighted to answer any build up questions. Now, if most of us jump in your website, like right here in this group, if we want to answer things and you guys have questions about like which temperature your printer, which temperature the bed, that's why I jumped here and I show you these prints made out of nylon. And I can answer the questions that you have about layering and all that. On the group that we have on Forward 3D Printing is just about building machines. Because again, some of you already build a machine. Some of you want to upgrade a machine. There's a bunch of people that is just looking at the Annette and have no idea how to do this. And so I'm going to make videos on how I will buy an Annette and build an Annette live, just so you guys watch how I build. Everything that you do, again, Prusa has a way to put his machines. These machines that I build, I have a way that you need to put it together. If you put it the wrong way, you might end up with a bad machine. So again, pushing your own firmware, having the correct parts. This was made for Prusa, for you. It's on the mark. That is the Mark II extruder with an 8mm sensor. I changed that so you don't have to buy a $50 sensor. You can buy a $3 sensor. Upgrade, people. We made these upgrades for you. Go to Thingiverse. Don't only look for spinners. People drive me crazy. Spinners are cool, but it's a waste of a bearing. Unless you have ADD, I guess. But again, printing in nylon, it's an art. Getting out to string is another different art. These things will be more than delighted to tell you. Now, if you get one of the old grumpy people that are like, well, you know, I don't want to be telling you the same thing over and over and over. Here it goes. I'm making a video of me telling you over and over the same thing. Get some PEI if you want your prints to stick. Get a different extruder. This extruder was made for your machine. Get carbon parts. You can 3D print them with your machine. I'll give you the temperatures. I'll give you the speeds. I will make a file for you guys to be able to print it, as long as you guys promise me that you will operate your machine to Marlin. That you're gonna put a MOSFET in your machine so it doesn't catch on fire. Hey guys, I don't make any money out of these. I just sit here and show you my prints and answer questions because I want you to succeed. This is not easy. Like, you guys picked a hard hobby. This is robotics. Some of you build the machine like to specs and it prints fantastic. Some of you build the machine to specs and it won't print worth a crap. And again, most of you wonder, like, why is that? And again, this material, nylon, nearly impossible to print on if you don't know what you're doing. But it's fun as hell. You can machine it, you can cut. If you cut through the layers will be all stuck together. It will be one piece. You can see the layers on the outside, but on the inside is solid. It's machinable. And again, just so you guys don't see I'm blowing your butt on these, there it is. The Mark I. I built that machine when Prusa was putting his machines out in the market. And that's what they look like now. Why do I like the Revolux? I think it's rigid. I don't have to worry about the machine being square or not. With these ones, when you build them, you have to make sure this is a square to the frame. If your bed is not a square to the frame, you're not going to get square prints. Period. That's it. There's no way around that. There's no way to calibrate it. That's why Prusa has auto calibration in his machines. When you build his machine, the machine will tell you if it's not square. That's why I went with that. I went with the extrusion, so you don't have to do that. I know my machine is straight because I measure it, and that's all. Aluminum is straight. Now, these, for example, you guys that have plastic on your machine, this is Diabond. This is not even aluminum. This is Diabond and this is wood. This machine printed better than that machine until that machine got self-calibrated. That machine is self-calibrated. There's no way that machine can print as good as this machine, just because they're rigid, the speeds, and the self-calibration. They are all level. So again, if I cannot convince you to go from these to these, which again, you only have to buy that to make that, let me convince you in putting a part that Joseph Prusa made for you. This is the extruder that goes to your actual machine. The Chinese went cheap. They didn't even print them. It was just aluminum blocks. This is the printer. This is the actual extruder that goes to the Prusa Mark II. You see? Again, the layers are amazing. This is Nylon Taulman 618. If you guys want to go and buy one, try to print. It's impossible. But everything that we did, again, PEI, no tape. You notice my stuff is shiny, like it's got glass on top of it. It's not. It's polythermite. And it's there so my stuff sticks. Again, you can even see the shadowing. Elmer's glue. I'm not too good. I'm still Elmer's glue. I still trust it. Tape, guys. We were using blue painter tape 6 years ago. You guys are going backwards on time. Like the people that is trying to do Captain tape. Jesus, that was like 8 years ago. We figured out that Captain had less addition than tape. And then there's people still trying Captain. No, I mean, we already figured out the science. PEI. We already figured out the glue. All of these, simple to do. And again, look at the print. Look at the quality of the prints made with nylon. Why? Because I have the extruder that goes to the actual Prusa. This again, the bed is cold. For everybody that is wondering about that, the bed is bone cold. It's at 31 degrees, which is the temperature that I had to keep it for the nylon to stick well. You know how long it took me? It took me about 2 years to figure that crap out. And again, do you guys have any questions? Please. It's not some just random dude. Here I am. Again, any question, please, feel free. But if I cannot get you to ask questions, if I cannot get to solve your problems, just let me tell you. Anything else you need to know is that that extruder will solve half of the problems in the net. Just print it and install it. You already have the parts. They're built to your net. PEI, you want your prints to stick, stop asking about tape. Put some PEI. You want a self-auto bed leveling on a net? Use aluminum tape, stick it to the bottom of a piece of glass, and then put that on top of your bed. Your bed all of a sudden is straight. And then with a sensor like this, your auto level, it's $3. That sensor is $3 at AliExpress. That runs on 5 volts, not 6 volts. That runs on 5 volts, which means that you can just plug it to the net, plug it to any ramps. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to plug anything different. These are just little tricks, guys. And your prints, again, your prints will turn out like that every time, because the machine is doing what you're telling it to do, instead of you trying to calibrate and mess with the machine as the machine is trying to do something. You know, when I touch these rods, the wire rods, never. I don't have to, because my machine knows where the bed is at all times. Again, $5. So I'm gonna let you guys watch this for a little while. Any questions? Please just post them. When I walk back in, I answer. But again, these printed, you must print that extruder. That extruder was made for your machine. It was designed for Prusa, by Prusa, for you, for your machine. Most of us already made changes to it. You can just download that extruder from Thingiverse. It will absolutely change how your net prints. Again, a net is $187. The Chinese cut corners. You can solve what the Chinese did wrong by printing that extruder, by putting an auto level sensor. Cheap. It's an aluminum bed. Again, if you guys are interested, the guys that are still here, I'm gonna be building that onto that. So if you guys want to follow along with your net, you could make your net like this one onto that. Again, it's bare naked. Yes. Do I need to close it? No, because I know the speeds are running right. I know the heat of the material. I know how I have to print it and how fast I have to print it. There it is. Nylon Taulman, no enclosement. I'm even finding it. That usually doesn't stick to anything, but right here. And again, just so you guys don't think I'm printing on ABS and just blowing smoke out of your ass. Natural Taulman 618 for 3D printing nylon. Again, you can go in any of the groups and ask around, hey, how hard is to print in nylon? Most of the guys are gonna laugh at you. But it's easy to learn. I'm sorry guys, my telephone just keeps interrupting me for a little stand that I have. But again, it's easy to learn how to do these things. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that I can teach you how to print in nylon overnight. That would be a lie. But I can teach you how to print in ABS and TPU and T-glaze quick and easy. Why? Because as long as you have the correct things that Prusa made for the machine, like the Prusa A3 Mark II extruder. Again, if I cannot convince you of anything else to do to your machine, put that extruder in your machine. It was designed for the net. It was designed for any Prusa machine. That little sensor, $3 on AliExpress. Now my bed is auto level. My prints are the same every time. If you guys have any other questions on any other materials, please feel free to ask right here. For example, did you know that PLA can be polished with polished compound, like soft polished compound? You can polish ABS, you can polish PLA. Everybody's like, how do you smooth ABS? How do you use acetone? You don't have to. You can leave the layers intact without having to drive acetone into it. You can polish PLA. You don't have to put either HTF, which is hydrotetrafolin, which is the actual thing that we use for it, or people that is now telling you to do to go grab acetone and bleach to make your own ether. That's just crazy, people. You shouldn't be using chloroform to do anything that is biodegradable. It stays impregnated. You understand that when you use when you use chloroform, when you use chloroform to smooth your parts, if you put your parts in your mouth, you're probably numb because it'll absorb into the print. Just use some polish compound to polish glass and metals. Just grab your Dremel and hit it slowly with a polishing. You can do all this stuff without having to go crazy trying to figure out the shit that we already figured out. For example, if you print on ABS and you use acetone, if you leave it too long, your prints are gonna separate. They're gonna start cracking because you're driving moisture out of the actual print. See what I'm saying? So again, everything, remember, the first thing about 3D printing, it's material science. Learn the materials. Learn how nylon behaves when it's cold, when it's hot. Learn your PLA, learn your ABS. I know it sounds boring, I know. But if you want to have good prints, again, this is nylon. This is impossible. And again, I printed these big so you can see it. I could have made it really small. As a matter of fact, I have some feet from earlier when I was doing these in millimeter size. I was doing like a quarter of the size of it. There it is, the leg. There it is. And then I decided, no, instead of doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and print you a big one. So you see that you can print a big object without having to have an enclosure. Just keep your room temperature at the same that you will have when your parents are visiting, 76 degrees. Things like that. Again, there's thousands of secrets that you guys are looking for, and most of us already figure out because we've been doing this for a long time. Again, if I can convince you of anything else, just put that extruder in your printer, the Prusa Mark II extruder, and watch your printer go to town. You're gonna be like, what the hell? Run a slicer version for Prusa. You can download from Prusa 3D and run it and watch your print. You're gonna be like, what the hell? How is my printer doing so much better? Was this because the slicer was designed for your machine? The extruder is designed for your machine. What a surprise when you put an alternator that doesn't go to your car blows up. Same thing. Remember, the Chinese cut corners. I'm not saying that the Anet is a bad machine. The Anet was designed by Joseph Prusa. The design of the Anet, it's a design that has been running for 5 years. And they made it with plexiglass, or what do you call it? Plexiglass. Again, if you cannot afford to upgrade your machine to rods, to aluminum extrusion, upgrade the extruder. You can 3D print that, and you will know the difference right away. Update your Marlin, push your own code, use the slicer that was invented by Prusa for the machine. Watch. Most of the people is like, how do you get your printers? You know what? I don't even mess with the settings on the slicer anymore. I just put whatever infill I want and just do it. Because I ran the G code. I did it before. And it's a pain in the ass to learn all this shit. So Prusa already made a slicer for your machine. Go ahead and get it from his website. He made you that. He made you a part so you can have a better extruder in your machine. Go ahead and download it. It's on Prusa 3D. If you want to put an 8mm sensor, you can get it from Thingiverse. I already made these changes so you can get this particular sensor already in your machine. This will, again, we do the work for 7 years so you guys don't have to do it now. Adrian Boyer started these 15 years ago. The people did it for 10 years, and now people like me that have been doing it for 7 years. We've been doing this for just so you guys don't have to learn everything that we learn. We just, again, people like Prusa, open source. You get all the code that your machine needs to run from Prusa, and then all of a sudden you figure like, holy crap, my Anet can print great. It's because you're running the wrong slicers, you're running the wrong hosts. Your machine was designed with certain things like Simplified 3D with a slicer. SLIC3R. There's a version specifically for the Anet. As a matter of fact, look, you don't want to print the 3D printer, you don't want to print the extruder, that's fine. You don't want to put an auto calibration, that's fine. Download the slicer and watch how better your prints are. Slicer, SLIC3, the number 3, the letter R. Go to Prusa3D.com. you go to their website, like to their tab of support, and you can download the drivers. Just download the drivers, and there is a slicer right there on their Prusa 3D. You can use their slicer and watch your prints. Again, just go right now, do that. Just the slicer from Prusa 3D and watch how much better your prints are. That's simple, because it was designed for the Annette. It was designed for a Prusa slicer. That again, the extruder designed for your machine. You can 3D print it from Prusa 3D or from Thingiverse if you want to put a bigger sensor. I already made these changes for you for free. You can go ahead and get them. Your prints will turn awesome. I'm just gonna shut my mouth now because I got a dry mouth. So if you guys have any questions about the material, the speeds or layers, I'll be more than delighted to answer those. Sorry. I'll be more than delighted to answer those questions if you guys post it. When I come back in, I'll read them. Nylon 618 Taulman. It's not coming off the bed. As you can see, it's dead on the bed. It's not an easy material to print on. It's just the right extruder and the right surface for the bed. I'm gonna try to put it a little farther so you guys can see the layers. Man, I wish I had a better camera so you guys can see those layers. And again, nylon. You can machine this material. No, I don't want you to go out and buy nylon. I want you to learn to push firmware first to your machine. Push the firmware. Learn how to change your own firmware. There is a video there on YouTube. Go to 3D printing, for 3D printing on YouTube. Go to my channel. I have videos on how to upgrade your own Marlin. You want to auto calibrate. I already made these. This is available in Thingiverse. This extruder is directly made for your machine. It was created by Joseph Prusa. All the changes I made for it was that sensor. The only change on the machine that's on the print that I changed is so you could put a cheaper sensor. That's an 8mm sensor that can go through glass. If you want to auto level your Annette, that extruder plus a piece of glass and aluminum tape. Shameless plug, forward3dprinting.com. Tom's from Tom's Guide on YouTube said that you couldn't use aluminum tape. I proved him wrong. You a little piece of glass, a little aluminum tape underneath. You have auto bed calibration, auto bed leveling. Again, guys, these things were made for you by the community. Most of us, I'm still making parts in Tinkercad for Mendel machines. Most of you don't even know what that is, a Mendel. So this is what we do again. Prusa made that available for all of you. The guy that made the machine and sells the machine now, Prusa i3 Mark II, one of the hottest 3D printers right now, he made that available for you to 3D print it so you can install it in your machine and make your machine like his. Remember, open source people, this is who we are. We're a community of people just trying to do good for others. How cool is that? Any questions, again, please ask them, post them here, post them on my Facebook group, again, forward3dprinting.com, post it on my website, forward3dprinting.com. Again, go to my YouTube channel, look at the videos. If you have any questions, if you want me to make a video, it's something that you don't understand, please let me know. We don't make any money out of these guys. All we want you guys is to be as successful as most of us. Prusa, believe me, Prusa is not making as much money as you think out of those machines. Prusa has been doing this for a very long time. He's a very influential guy, but he's not making much money out of us. The Lamborghini people, yeah, that picture is not his. We're trying to make this affordable for everybody. So these changes, like right here, your extruder, the fact that you can print it, is made for the Annette. It's made by Prusa. Why would you have something less? You don't want your prints to come off the bed? Don't use tape. Sprint the $14 and buy PEI. Buy a sheet of PEI, put it on a piece of glass. You can put a sensor, you had out of bed leveling. If you only want to like addition, PEI. Again, tape, we were using tape, painter's tape, we were using that 6 years ago. You guys are going back on time. Nylon 618, impossible to print in. A little PEI, a little glue, and I'll show you guys. Again, Taulman nylon. My bed is cold. I even unplugged my sensor. There's my sensor hanging out in the back. Just so I don't have to be worrying about the temperatures, because if I start messing with the temperatures, then I might turn on the bed trying to make it better, and I'm gonna fuck it up. That's simple. Here I'm running slicer settings from Prusa, dedicated to make these machines better. Go to Prusa 3D and download the slicer. It's made for the net. Download the extruder. It's made for your printer. All these little things that you see again, with the parts that come in your extruder, you can build that. And again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up my butt, people. That is Nylon 618. It's nearly impossible to print out of that one, and I am printing Adalinda at full size. Again, learn the materials, learn the prints, push your own firmware, get the right parts. Every time I come back in, you're gonna hear me say the same thing over and over. I love the Annette support group. You guys, a bunch of you guys in the support group are amazingly smart and very, very talented. It surprises me when some of the old guys that have been running the Annette since the A6 or the A whatever, that they're saying, oh, I'm running Kira with slicer settings. Why don't you not run the slicer for the Prusa settings, which is your machine? Your print will turn amazing. That extruder makes a whole difference. PEI, a sheet of PEI. You don't want a good tape for the blue tape. 6 years ago, guys, literally, I learned to print in blue tape. Blue tape doesn't work. If you were trying to print these, it will rip the blue tape off the bed. Nylon will rip the tape off the bed. Or it will just not print. It will come right off. Again, $14 of PEI. Right here. Polythermide. And $1.50 of glue stick. Zero temperature on the bed, and I'm printing nylon. This is machinable nylon. You can make actual motorcycle parts, you can make car parts, you can make an engine out of these, and it will actually run because it's machinable nylon. I'm not saying go out and buy nylon, for heaven's sakes, please no. You guys will be so pissed at me if you try to print on these. Now you guys want me to teach you how to do this? No problem, I'll teach you how to do it. However, again, begins with the machine, begins with the changes that you do to your machine. You don't want to upgrade your machine to aluminum extrusion, that's fine. Just put a better extruder. That extruder was made for you from Prusa. I'm going to repeat this. If you guys are like staying tuned in for a very long time, I wish not, because you're going to hear the same bullshit over and over and over. I'm preaching these things. Again, you people with an Annette, your things keep on catching on fire. MOSFET. It's $10. Protect your investment. Come on, people. Howdy peoples, I'm back. Anyways, again, if you haven't heard it, that extruder you can download on Thingiverse. It was designed for the Annette. It was designed for the Prusa. If you want to get addition like printing in nylon, I use PEI, polytheramide. The shit is about $14 for an 8x8. Glue it to your bed, glue it to your glass. If you want to auto level your bed, just put it a sensor. I put this free on Thingiverse. You guys can download that if you want it with a bigger sensor like Prusa's. Prusa has a Pinda 5mm, sorry, 3mm 5 volts. This is also 5 volts. You can plug it to any board. So again, guys, we made the upgrades for you guys. This one was made for Prusa. I made that change so you guys can put a cheaper sensor. You want to know how nylon is not coming off my bed? PEI and a little glue. I'm not ashamed of the glue. Again, printing on nylon is nearly impossible. It's hard as hell, specifically with no enclosure. You see my layers are staying perfect. It's fun as hell to watch it. It's like watching paint dry. It really is like watching paint dry. Anyways, any questions on the material, any questions on the build, any questions on temperatures, any questions on jerk, any questions you guys have, please just post them. I'll be more than delighted to answer. We've been doing this for a very long time, so you guys don't have to learn all the garbage by trial and error. Please ask any question. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Well, there is, but we're not going to talk about it. Anyways, again, guys, you want your Annette to print like this? Download the extruder. You already have all the parts for it. The only thing that you're going to have to get is the aluminum body for your E3D. The head that the Annette goes to the aluminum body of the E3D. For all of you that are like, oh my god, I want to put an E3D head on my Annette. You already have the head, all you need is the body. Again, seriously people, these upgrades are made for you. Prusa made that available for you guys. You can put it on any Prusa and you will notice the difference. Hell, you just want to notice how much the difference is in between your prints. Install the slicer version that Prusa has on his website on your machine, and you will see how much you're better. Just by installing the slicer and making your slicing with a different program that is designed for your machine, you will notice how amazing your prints come. Again, all these things are easy upgrades that you can do to your machine. You can 3D print that. Now, if you print your extruder like this on nylon, it will last you forever. Self-lubricating. You can even do bearings, Igus star bearings. You can print them on nylon because it's self-lubricating. Again, you can see that the layers are constant. They're great, very little stringing. And again, I'm printing on nylon. It has to do with the temperatures. Learn your materials. That thing that you see my machine keeps on going up and down is called C-hop. It's part of the slicer. Is programmed into the Annette? Yes. Does it do it on Kira? No. And everybody wonders why my prints are always seamless. It's because my machine doesn't know how to make a seam. It just jumps to the next point where it needs to start. So there is seams, they're just hard to find. Tomorrow I'll print pictures, close-up pictures. Do you see the layering and how well these turn out? Again, I'm going to be putting videos on how to build a machine like this out of that. Right? So again, There's all kinds of upgrades you can do to the net that are not too expensive to do, and that make your prints turn out fantastic. The 3030 extrusion, one of the best things you can do for a machine. You make it rigid. Now again, not everybody wants to do that, and everybody's mechanically inclined. I understand. Again, change your slicer, change your settings, learn how to push your own firmware. If you push your own firmware compared to the Chinese firmware that came with the net, your prints will turn out better just by you changing your firmware. You use the slicer that was made for Prusas. Go to prusa.com, download prusa3d.com, and download their slicer under their support tab. It's gonna say it's a zip file that has the drivers for the Prusa. Go ahead and install them. It's not gonna hurt anything. The drivers for that machine are for the Rambo. If you one day feeling saucy and want a really expensive board, you already have the drivers for the Rambo. But in the meanwhile, you can use the slicer that Prusa himself made for your machine for free just by downloading it from Prusa 3D. I'm running this board. This board is a aluminum hotbed from Folgertech. It's 12 volts. I only run it with one power supply, but I do run it with a MOSFET, so my board doesn't burn. I heard that their nets tend to catch on fire. That said, again, if you don't want to order from AliExpress, you can buy a smaller sensor from Amazon. This is a 4mm sensor. Notice how much is smaller. This is again an 8mm sensor. The only difference with this sensor is that it runs in 6 volts. That one runs on 5 volts. You can just plug it to your net, and your net is self-leveling all of a sudden. Again, those changes are in your firmware. You have to change that on your firmware. It smells like bud, by the way, if anybody wonders. It smells like bud because that nylon is old and I dehumidify it, so it smells like every place that it's been on. But I don't know who's put it on his butt, but anyways, again guys, so you don't want to make your machine out of aluminum, that's fine. Again, you can just download that extruder and put it on the net. You will see a difference. It's made by Prusa for your machine. It's free. You can 3D print it. Not big in printing in nylon. If everybody wondering why am I printing a huge dragon on nylon, I'm not big on printing on nylon. I just wanted to make a difficult print. Again, the Adalinda, it's a 100% printable print. It's a beautiful print. You can get it from Thingiverse. But I wanted to do something big on nylon so you guys can see better vision and you guys can see the layering. And it's all the difference in the world just by using the actual extruder that Prusa designed for the machine. He didn't design it for the Annette, but it fits the Annette because the Annette is a Prusa. A little closer layers for those who've been here hanging out trying to look at this print a little better. Look at that shine, look at those layers, completely regular, no banding, no jerk, no nothing. And again, I'm running the Marlin, I'm running my own firmware. You can download that from GitHub for free. If you're interested in how to make this machine, just go to my group. I have a group on just how to build machines. That's why I jump into these kind of groups to teach you guys if you guys want any answers and questions about printing. But if you got any questions about building, go to my Forward 3D printing group. I have experts, a lot of experts about building machines. Chris mentioned from Folgertech, fantastic guy. Again, a bunch of the guys that I have in the group, I specifically got them to answer questions about build. We don't answer questions about printing. We come into your websites, into your groups to answer these questions. If you are interested in how to build a machine like that, out of that, this is the first Prusa I built. This is a Mark 1 that I built when Prusa was building the Mark 1. And I upgraded a bunch of stuff on it. Now, if you want to make that, out of that, a bunch of like $100 worth of parts, you have that, your prints will come out better. Why? Because the machine is rigid. The machine is square. You don't have to try to figure out if your machine is square. The machine is square, guaranteed. It's aluminum. You want your prints to stick like nylon. First of all, nylon doesn't stick, but here you can see it. Polytheramide, PEI sheet. You guys have seen me many times. I preach this garbage. I preach it because you guys go buy tape or Aquanet. You guys are using solutions that we used 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago. You guys already have, we already solved all that for you guys. PEI, polytheramide. This material will make anything stick. A little Elmer's glue on it. If you're printing a hard material like a nylon, you'll make it stick. The brim, the guy that taught me to print, make the brim. He's the guy that invented the brim. Adam Herring, aka Idle Crasher. Again, these guys been doing these since Prusa was doing these. So we already figured out the physics. We already figured out all this garbage for you, just like Prusa already figured out the extruder. I hate watching people over there in the net group. You guys like, my extruder don't work. But yeah, because the Chinese cut corners. You can 3D print that part. It was designed for the Prusa by the guy that designed the Prusa. Joseph Prusa designed that extruder specifically for the Mark II. And you can download it and mess with it. I already made the changes. If you want to download these for Thingiverse to put a 8mm sensor, this is a 5 volt, this is a 6 volt. You will have to plug this to your power supply. That one you can just plug to the net board. You understand? Again, these things, guys, these things are simple solutions like PI. Again, I know that the net's catching fire. I keep on saying it. I know the Chinese from Best Gear are going to be pissed off, but they do. This MOSFET, $10. Your shit don't catch on fire. Your house don't catch on fire. Again, your insurance drops if you get one of these ones. I think. I'm joking about that. I don't even think my insurance company knows I have printers. But again, so all these changes, all these parts for your machine, I didn't invent them. The guy that invented the Prusa did. I only changed some of these for you. Now, Prusa's sensor is a PINDA, it's a PINDA. It runs on 5 volts, just like that sensor. The sensor is only 3mm. I like more distance in between my glass and my nozzle. That's simple. So download the parts that were actually intended for your machine. Again, the guys that have been hanging out for a little while realize that my telephone keeps on falling out of the stand. But again, this nylon 618 Taulman, it smells like bud because it's full of humidity. But again, if your materials are wet, a gallon bag and desiccant. If you want to invest money on how to dry your materials and keep them dry, get a dehydrator from Amazon. Your materials will always print great if they're dry. Some of you is like, I'm getting banding and getting bad layering. It's not that. It's not even bad layering or banding. Most of you are getting bad prints because your materials are wet. The moment that you open all materials, PLA, nylon will regain all the humidity. You can put it in a dehydrator. We pull it out. The moment that you pull the nylon out of the dehydrator, it begins to gain moisture. And in 8 hours, everything that I did in 3 hours of drying it regained all the humidity back. Know your material size. Again, more important than anything, guys, Prusa already made parts for your machine. Over and over. I'm going to say it until the print is over. Get a MOSFET. Damn it. This stand is being a pain in my butt. Get a MOSFET. It will stop the Annette from catching on fire. They're $10 on Amazon. Get a sensor. If you don't want to have to plug it to the power supply, if you want to just plug it to the board, go to AliExpress and get the blue one for $5. I think it's like $3. You got a piece of glass, put it on your hotbed, so you guys see a PCB. You put it on your PCB, a piece of glass, and you put aluminum tape on the bottom. Tom from Tom Guide said that it's not possible. I already disproved that. And I even posted the video to his group and his YouTube channel. So you guys don't believe it. Not all of us have, like, none of us that be doing this printing for like 7 years, 10 years. None of us have all the knowledge. I've seen people that has been printing for 4 years and somehow is still using Aquanet. Jesus. You want your prints to stick? Spend the $14 for the PEI, polytheramide, fantastic. You want your prints to turn out like this every time? Get the parts that Prusa made for your machine. You can download them for Prusa 3D for free and print them. You want to make a machine like this? Forward 3D Printing Group and forward3dprinting.com. I'll teach you how to make your Annette into these. I'm actually about to put some videos out on how to make the Mark 1, which is an Annette, onto that. With that, that's it. Your machine will always print the same. Why? Because the bed is square every time. Self-auto leveling. You guys complain about layers and why are my layers different and why is one side higher than the other one. Again, print that extruder from Prusa 3D, or you can go to Thingiverse if you want to put a bigger sensor, and you can download that from Thingiverse. 3030 Revolix amalgamation machine. I made these changes for you already. They're made for the Annette, specifically for Prusa Side 3s. The prints will be better. Again, any questions, you guys dump them here, print them, or post them, or you can post them in the group. Again, Forward 3D Printing group here on Facebook. If you want to learn how to build a machine, I'm not big into answering like printing questions on the group. The group that I formed is specific to help you guys if you want to learn how to build a different machine. You tell me you want me to post building like of the H1, I will go find an H1 and build one for you. You guys want to learn how to build a Mendel, I'll build a Mendel for you. We don't make any money out of these, we just want you guys to be as successful as us. That's why Prusa still makes all these things available to you for free. Download them. Thingiverse, Prusa 3D. If you have any questions that you think I've been asked 1,000 times, go to reprep.org. Great resource for you guys that are new at these. Again, you just want to read articles, go to my website, shameless blog, forward3dprinting.com. I'll teach you how to get rid of ringing. I'll teach you how to auto level with that. It's all for free. These prints are nothing magical. And these prints 0.2 layers, not even that sharp. It's just the fact that it's made with nylon is what makes it impressive. Because there is no enclosure and the bed is 0. Again, here goes. Bed 0. And again, just so you see, the nylon Taulman. Not joking. Impossible materials to print in. Your printer will turn out prints good just because you have the actual extruder that was made for your printer. The Chinese cut corners. I keep on saying that. The Chinese cut corners. So if you want your machine to print the way that it was supposed to when Prusa invented it, download the products for free and print them. These was made by Prusa. I changed it. If you want to put a bigger sensor, a cheap sensor, this sensor is $3. Prusa sensor is $50. However, he was nice enough to make this free, so I could change it for free for you. Go to Thingiverse, 3030, look for 3030 extrusion, Revolix amalgamation. You will find that extruder on my Thingiverse. Print that extruder. It's cheap. Again, it's free. You can print it, use the parts that came on your Annette, and all of a sudden you have a Mark II extruder in your machine. Prusa made it free for you, and I made it better for you too. Why? Because we got nothing better to fucking do. Anyways, If you have any questions, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, have a drink. I'm gonna go to bed soon. Tomorrow I'll post all the good pictures of whatever, so you can see really close-up pictures of what the layers look like, because I have my own lights in the machine. It's kind of hard to get it to focus. You see, I'm running lights in my machine. That was $6 worth of light that I put in there, and it's hooked up to the power supply. All these little things are just tricks. But again, you want your prints to come out like that every time? Get the extruder that goes to your machine. Prusa design it for free. I changed these for free so you can make these from Thingiverse. Cheaper sensor. PEI on your machine, polytheramide. You guys are using tape. I have no idea why you keep on using tape. You guys are using tape, which were solutions that we were using 5 years ago. Polytheramide. It's now like literally, you know, science. We're using polycarbonate to print them. Your print will always stick. Notice again, there's PVA glue. I'm not ashamed to say. This is nylon. Again, a little PVA glue and polytheramide and even nylon sticks. That's, and Adalinda the dragon. If you want to go see it, Thingiverse, what it looked like, that's 11 centimeters tall. And it's printing the layers without enclosure, because I have the right extruder, the right temperatures, right material science. Again, the material science on these, it drives me crazy when you guys like tape, blue tape. That was, I hate that damn stain, I'm sorry guys. Anyways, but again, you guys keep on using blue tape. That was already solved. We already figured that out. Polytheramide, PEI. Watch your prints be glassy on the bottom every time. Watch every print that you print stick to the bed. And all your friends are like, how are you doing that? Well, because we solved these like years ago. Again, you guys are using tape. We were doing that 6 years ago. Again, at least do glass with Aquanet. Glass with Aquanet is newer than blue tape. I don't know why the Chinese put blue tape. Maybe they still on that time frame. But you guys, they are building machines, polytheramide, PEI. It will make anything stick to it. Again, the sensor, the actual extruder that should go to your machine, the one that Prusa built, download it, print it, it was free. If you want to put a bigger sensor, I put that on Thingiverse. If you want to know how to push code to your machine, shameless plug, 3D print, forward3dprinting.com. There I have a video there on YouTube too. You can see how you push your own code to make your prints better every time. I have a 3D printing group, Forward 3D Printing, if you want to learn how to build this machine out of that. Again, look, another Prusa. So you see, I'm not kidding. I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. To the point that I'm designing things for you guys not to not have to design. If you want to learn how to design, use Tinkercad. Don't use Fusion 360. Fusion 360 is a program that took me years to learn. Again, start with Tinkercad. Tinkercad is to Legos what Fusion is to clay. Start easy. And again, don't be afraid to fail. Christ, if you had any idea how many times I printed that dragon in nylon and failed. It took me 2 years to learn how to print nylon properly. Try ABS, try new materials, don't be afraid. It's fairly simple. And again, dude, if somebody asks you a question, any of you, if somebody asks you a question and you already know the answer, don't be lazy, answer it. Because that's what I'm doing here. I'm sitting here on your group, guys, teaching you about your machines. This extruder, Prusa made it, print it, put it in your net, watch the difference. Hell, you want to just see the difference in your prints? Download the slicer version from Prusa and watch your prints come alive. And you're going to be like, why the hell are you running Chinese? Because you guys are not looking the right resources. Everything like blue tape and Captain tape on your bed, we've been doing that like 10 years, Captain. When I started printing, we were all doing tape already. We were not even using Captain anymore, and some of you are using Captain. Again, polytheramide. We've been doing this for 15 years. Polytheramide. Somebody already figured out the material science. This sheet right here that looks glassy, everything will stick with it. The only reason I have glue here is because I'm printing nylon. And hell, look at them layers. That's Taulman nylon. That can be, I can actually like machine that if I wanted to. which I don't see why would I machine Adalinda after I printed it for something else. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting tired, so I started getting cursy. Yeah, you see I look all crazy too. Anyways, you guys got any questions? Again, if you want to learn how to build that out of that, go to join my group, Forward 3D Printing. If you want to learn how to push your own firmware, Marlin, forward3dprinting.com. Shameless plug again. I don't make any money out of this. I just like helping people, and I got nothing better to do. So again, this make your machine 1,000 times better because it's not bendy. It's rigid. So your bed is already straight. That sensor make your prints the same every time. It's $3 sensor. That extruder is the Prusa original. He designed it for your machine. Go download it, install it. I'm gonna continue to say the same things over and over. That's what we're here to teach you guys. If you are wondering about the bed is made by Folder Tech. It's an aluminum bed, 12 by 12. You can upgrade your machine to a machine like that just by making the frame bigger. As a matter of fact, like Prusa did on his own machine, he made the bed bigger to the Mark II, and he made it self-calibrated, which is the same thing that is right here. He made that extruder. I made the changes on Thingy, but you can download it for free. Print that extruder is made for your machine. Alright, I'm done. I'm gonna go smoke. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna say good night to you guys when I'm done with these. Continue to watch. If you have any questions, post them up. If you want to join the group, if you have any questions about building, join Forward 3D Printing group, or visit us at forward3dprinting.com, or go to my group on YouTube, Forward 3D Printing. I have a bunch of videos on how to upgrade your Marlin, how to auto level your bed, like install sensors. Again, we do this because we have nothing better to do, and we've been doing this for a long time. So again, that extruder, printed, install it in your machine, is designed for your machine by the guy that designed your machine. Prusa designed that. If you want to put a bigger sensor, that's a $3 sensor. Go to Thingiverse. I already changed the file for you guys for free. All these things, you want your prints to stick, PEI, and your prints will stick every time. You guys have seen a bunch of my prints. I always preach that. Again, $10 MOSFET. Your boards won't cut on fire. We have figured out the science. Just saying. What's up, Pebbles? Watching paint dry, I see. Yeah, it's like watching paint dry. Anyways, last 2 times I preached this. This is printed in Nylon, Taulman 618. The reason I'm getting really good addition to the bed is because there's a brim around the paws and the tail. There it's I have polytheramide. This sheet right here is PEI and a little Elmer's glue, and that even nylon sticks to the bed. The bed is at room temperature, which I think is 28 Celsius, actually 24 Celsius right now. So it's kind of cool in here. I should warm it up a little bit, but anyways, for you guys on the Annette group, print that extruder from Prusa 3D. That's the extruder that goes to your machine. The guy that designed your machine designed that extruder. If you want to put a bigger sensor like these particular 8 millimeters, I already put this in Thingiverse. You guys can download it down there for free and print it. Put an 8 millimeter sensor, put a piece of glass on your PCB board. I know most of you have these type of boards, which is bendy, you know, it bends. But if you put a piece of glass on top of it and aluminum tape on the bottom of the glass and these on the top, your prints will always stick. Because of these, the sensor will auto level your bed because of the aluminum in the glass. Tom from Tom's Guide said that was impossible. I posted a video on his page to show him that it is possible. Again, if any of you is interested in making that or that and do that, I'm going to be posting some videos on Forward 3D Printing group. They're also going to be on my YouTube channel, Forward 3D Printing on YouTube. And it's also going to be on my website, shameless plug right here, forward3dprinting.com. If you guys want to learn about ringing, have certain prints that have to be printed, like if you want to print a Groot on wood, I already explained how to do that because most people somehow every time they print on wood failed. Again, you can see the nylon here, like the layers are shiny and perfect. It's because it's auto leveled. The machine is going up and down. If you keep on noting, my machine doesn't keep on making perimeters, it jumps up and it starts somewhere else. That's called C-hop. It's programmed on the slice. As a matter of fact, you guys want to see an amazing change on your Annette without having to do any physical changes to the machine, just go to Prusa 3D, download their drivers, install them. You'll see under Prusa, under your Windows or your Mac, there will be a slicer that's directly configured for your machine. You know what settings I have here? Because I don't. I just put it in Prusa. Now, am I good at settings? Yes. It took me years to learn. But now Prusa has it figured out for you guys, where you just download the slicer, use his slicer for the machine, which your Annette is a Prusa clone. This extruder, he designed it for your machine. Go to Prusa 3D and you can download all the parts for your machine that you need to upgrade. One of the things that I don't like about the Annette, I really do not like about the Annette, how you guys have that front post frame there. The original Prusa came in rods, and now we make fun of Prusa for using rods because we have extrusion. So you can do out of that plus that, you get that. You want your prints to look like that every time? Again, install the right extruder that the guy that built your machine and designed for it. You want it to stick, sheet of PEI, polytheramide. We no longer use tape. People, for heaven's sake, you're still using blue tape. We've been using blue tape for 6 years. 6 years. When I started 3D printing, we were using blue tape and Captain. Dumb, 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 dumb. Now we have material science. I was one of the ones that started printing in polycarbonate. And now we have polytheramide. This piece for one of the Annettes is probably around $12 on Amazon. And you will always get your prints to stick. Even nylon. Again, now, I'm not claiming that it's just the PEI. I have a little Elmer's glue and I have a RAM. But if any of you have printed in nylon, Taulman 618, you should know that this print that I'm having here stuck to the bed is crazy. It's nearly impossible to get a good print like that out of nylon. Why? Because it comes off the bed. Polytheramide, PEI. You guys have seen me over and over. That's why, again, I have my own forward 3D printing. I have my own group. The reason I jump in your groups, guys, is to try to answer questions. If you want to learn how to build, go to my group. Most of the guys that are there in my group are actually experts. The guy that I learned from is the guy that invented the brim. I know it's a shameless plug here. Sure. But again, that's why we come to your group to answer questions if you guys have any questions about materials or printing or whatever. Again, install that. Just install that bad boy. Download it from Prusa. It's for free. You can 3D print it and put it in your machine. Watch the difference. It's crazy. Again, you want to see amazing? Just download the slicer that Prusa made for the Annette. It's not for the Annette, I know, it's for the Prusa. But every Mark Mark 1 that you see out there, like the Annette and the Rep Champion, all those machines are out of Prusa, out of the i3. So Prusa designed that for you. It's free on his website. Get it, put it in your machine, watch the difference. All the parts that you have right there are already in your extruder. The only thing you need to get is that sensor. It's like $3 on AliExpress. Anyways, that was my spiel for the night. I literally sat here for 3 hours or an hour and a half doing a bunch of videos for you guys. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to learn how to build this machine, go to our group, Forward 3D Printing. We have a bunch of experts in how to build. That's all we do. Most of it is how to build. We answer questions about printing and so on very seldom. If you guys have any questions, again, you can contact me through Facebook, go to the group. If you have a specific question about 3D printing, you can even message me. Now, if it's about building, just go to the website. I'm not the only expert, so it's a lot easier for me not to have to answer all the questions about building. But again, please, if I cannot convince you to do anything else, install that in your machine. Prusa designed it for your machine. Prusa designed that for your machine. You can download it from Prusa 3D for free. Anyways, again, I'm gonna post this video, which is like an hour long. It's just funny. But if you guys have any questions, again, just please either contact me or join the group, or if you want to learn how to push Marlin, go to our website, forward3dprinting.com. Again, I just like coming to these groups to answer your questions, because most of you, again, if you people are still using blue tape, you're 6 years behind the curve. Already somebody figured out polytheramide. And if you want your prints to look like these, use the slicer that is for your printer. Don't go to Cura, go to Slicer for Prusa. They have a version specifically for your machine. You know how many machines have their specific slicer? Very few. Ultimaker, they make their own. Here, Slicer made a version for Prusa because how famous the machine is. Again, you want to see prints like these, even with the bad extruder that the Annette has, download the Slicer from Prusa 3D. You want to get Prusa 3D, like Prusa style prints, download the extruder. Install the extruder that Prusa designed for your machine. Anyways, the last thing before I go, MOSFET. For the love of God, the Annette tends to cut on fire. I don't know why. Somebody give me a thumbs up on that one, I deserve it. The machine tends to cut on fire. If they cut on fire, again, that's a $10 thing on Amazon. You just connect these to your board where the bed would be. Your DC goes in here, you connect your bed there, that's it. Your board doesn't catch on fire anymore. Simple solutions, again guys. When I started these, we had encoders. We didn't have steppers, we had encoders. So, most of the science is already figured out, guys. Just install the right parts for your machine and you'll see the difference in your prints. If you don't want to install it, you just want to just mess around, download the Slicer and install it and watch your prints come alive. Again, you will see the difference right away and you'll wonder why. It's because the guy that designed the printer designed the Slicer for it. The guy that designed that extruder for that machine is the guy that designed your printer. Simple. These are very easy to put together. Those extruders are very simple to put together. Again, if you want to put one of these sensors, this part already in Thingiverse, I already posted it in Thingiverse. Go under 3030 Revelix amalgamation. That's what it's called, 3030 Revelix amalgamation. I already made the changes. You can just download that, print it, and you can install that bad boy. That one is 5 volts. I got that from AliExpress. Usually you guys are gonna get the 6 volts from Amazon. Same thing. The only difference is that you have to plug these to a 12 hours for the power supply. These you can just plug to the Annette. Again, little tricks, guys. And again, the proof is in the pudding. Nylon, Taulman 618. Sorry, my camera is not zooming. I think it keeps on watching my bed move. Nylon. And again, this nylon is machinable. You can CNC these if you want to make parts out of these kind of materials. You can. Okay, just saying. Anyways, I hope you guys had fun. I'll put some pictures for you tomorrow of what it looks like when it's finished. Keep your glass clean if you have glass. Keep your surface clean. Remember, everything that you do, work it as you work it for the Lord, not for human masters. Keep on 3D printing. Have fun. See you guys.